All right, everybody. It is 7 o'clock. It is game time. Let's go. Get on here and let's get started. Let me see where everybody's at. I need I need comments. No comments yet. Hey, I need comments. I need to know that you guys can hear me okay. Everybody give me a thumbs up when you jump on. We got 12 viewers already, so let me know who's on. We're going to give it everybody about 2 or 3 minutes to jump on. Well, I don't see any comments yet. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Hey, Jordan. Hey, Bradley. Can you hear me okay? What's up, David? Charles, we will get on the phone. Hey, Josh. You like my shirt, Josh? Josh and Emily Young give me this shirt. It's one of my very favorite shirts. All right, Paul. Good to see you. Riley, Luke, Chad, Darren. Hey, brother Chad Rankin. Good to see you. Lisa, James. Oh, I forgot to message you back, James. James and his CA coming to visit today. Brother Carl, man, I miss you. Matt, Christian. Hey, young lady. All right, Devin, Paul, Shaw, Glenn. All right, it is just about game time. Everybody's jumping on. This is great. I'm going to give everybody just a couple more minutes. Let's see. I want to make sure everybody is on. Brother Ben Dorman, good to see you. Hey, Tim. Tim, congratulations, man. Killing it. Kind of crazy having record weeks in Chicago when you live in Tennessee. Brother Steve, this is for you tonight. Zach, we got to talk this week. Monty, Steve, hey, John. All right, Bradley, I hope you're enjoying that boat. I love the pictures, man. We're going to be on ours this weekend. Katie Short, my sister. All right, so it is 7:02, game time. Y'all ready? Let me bring this down where I can see what in the world's going on. All right, so I'm going to get in the middle of this, and then I'm going to save probably about 5 or 6 minutes for questions at the end of it. Um, Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to shift gears, and I'm excited about this tonight. I'm calling this 3-star. And you know what's interesting is I kind of go down this rabbit hole. Shannon and I, most of you know, if you don't, we are definite foodies. We love amazing food. We love amazing restaurants. Literally, we travel. When we travel all over the world, we'll look for the Michelin star restaurants. We ate at one in outside of right in London. We ate at one outside of Venice, Italy, for our anniversary. We've eaten at one in Barcelona, Spain. We're going to be in New York in December. I'm trying to get reservations right now, but not just Michelin star, but fine restaurants. And if you have ever, and I give you guys this analogy all the time, but it really holds true. And it doesn't matter if you're in a restaurant or a chiropractic office. We are in the service industry. And I want you guys. Many of you have heard me say this a million times, but I'm going to start with it tonight because this is really what it boils down to. You have a box and a ceiling. You got 4 walls and a top, and it's a place to walk in to eat right here. And then you have another box, 4 walls and a top, a ceiling, and another place to eat. And they are literally 6 blocks away from each other. One of them you have to have reservations way in advance, way in advance. And they're booked for months. You'll never, ever see them advertised, ever. The meals are outrageously expensive, right? That's this one. And the only reason you knew about it is because someone said, you've got to go there, or you Googled it and found it on the internet. Right down the street, 6 blocks, 5 blocks, 2 blocks down the street is another box that spends hundreds of millions of dollars a year in advertising. Um, Everyone has been there at least once. You've never ever went there and called one of your friends and said, "Hey, like McDonald's, you got to go to Mickey D's. It's the best." Never. You can just walk in. Now here's the thing: 2 boxes of service industry. Serving food. You can walk in and eat here. You can walk in and eat here. What's the difference? But I'm going to take it to another level. Um, about 2 weeks ago, a patient came into the office, and I had seen her in about 2 years, and she came back in. She had hurt her hip, whatever, blah blah blah. About her second or third visit, I adjusted her. She got off the table. And she said, "Doc," she said, I am feeling better. Thank you, but I need to tell you something. I don't know what it is, but you've created some kind of crazy magic out in that waiting room. That was her words. Crazy magic. She said, when I walk in the door, I immediately feel better. And it comes from everyone in your office. Gang, listen to what I just said. I stopped and I didn't really know what to say, because they are the most powerful words that you can hear from a patient. You have created some kind of crazy magic in your waiting room, and I feel it from everyone. She is telling me what I've been teaching you for years. So let's get in the middle of this. So if you guys understand or know anything about Michelin star restaurants, it's a fascinating story, actually. Michelin, or the Michelin tires, right? And so in 1900, the Michelin Tire Company created this system, because what they needed to do is they needed to get people to drive. They were selling tires. Cars were new. No one was driving. They weren't selling any tires. So what they did is they went and to all the French restaurants, and they made it, and they did this rating on which was the best restaurant, and then they put it out in a publication. People read that, said, "We've got to go there." They got in their car and they drove. Brilliant marketing strategy. Brilliant, right? If you think about it. Well, this thing has escalated throughout the years, and now they have thousands of people who work for the Michelin company, and they walk into a restaurant unannounced. No one knows who they are. They pay for their own meal. They're just there. And then they will write a review, and then your restaurant is rated depending on what these reviewers, found, to be the best. Now there's 3 stars: Michelin 1, 2, and 3. Michelin 1 star, and I'm going to break this down. So this is their words. A Michelin 1 star is called high quality. That's a high quality restaurant. And I'm going to tell you something. It's hard to find a Michelin star restaurant. You think about how many thousands of restaurants, and I mean like super fine dining restaurants. There's not that many, right? Or there's tens of thousands of them, but there's not that many 1 star. There's even less 2 star, and there's 2 star is worth a detour. Like you're driving down a highway, well, there's a restaurant here, but there's a 2 star over here. You're on your way. But a Michelin 3 star, that's worth a special journey. And when I read this, when I was doing my research on this, man, it just hit me. It's like, how many times do your patients, they don't have time? They can see, I've got patients that drive 2.5 hours past probably 40 other chiropractors. And they drive from the panhandle of Oklahoma all the way to my office because it's worth a special journey. So how are we going to go from a 1 star, 2 star to a 3 star? Because it is my opinion, gang, that in Focus Foundations that we are creating 3-star chiropractic offices. We're not McDonald's. We are not that nice restaurant down the street. We're not a 1 star. We're not a 2 star. We're going to work very hard to create the Michelin 3-star chiropractic offices. What elevates a 2 star to a 3 star? Service that is rarely experienced. I'm going to take my time with this, gang. I want to get done in time to answer questions, but I've got my notes, and I've spent a lot of time on this. I want you to write these things down, and if you don't write them down, I want you to go back and watch this again and put it in your phone or write it down later. But this is some things that I think that you all need to have written down and laying on your desk, that when you walk into your office every morning, that you read, and remind yourself. What elevates to a 3-star chiropractic office? Service to a degree that is rarely experienced. It's an emotion. Your patients have to know who you are with every visit. And I'm going to say this, you're going to hear me repeat this a lot. Your patients need to feel, they need to know who you are, Amy Van, who you are, Katie Short, Michael Sim. Who are you? When a patient walks in, they need to feel that. Not just first 5 on a Monday, every visit, every day, every time. An experience that stays with the patient long after the visit. They need to feel how much you love being there. I want you guys to think about something. If a patient comes into your office and they feel that you absolutely are in love with practice, with chiropractic, with being there, and you want to be there so bad for them, and they feel that, then guess what they feel also? That they feel like they want to be there. People want to be where people want to be. And that experience, that emotion, they're going to leave there and go out in the rest of their day, and that experience and that emotion is going to stay with them. You know, you hear it a million freaking times. I'm going to ask every one of you, on August 8th at 7:10, 1 year ago, what was happening and what was you doing? You have no idea. But I can ask you, do you remember where you were 9/11? When the planes hit the tower, where were you? You're going to remember. You'll remember that. It's an emotion. Emotions stay with people. And when you create an emotion within a patient because of who you are, then they leave your office and they carry that with them from that point on. And they don't have a choice. They have to share that with people. So this is something that I want you guys to write down also. Every day in your office is the Super Bowl. It is not practice. It is not just another game. It is not irrelevant. It is the biggest day of the year. And I want you to wrap your mind around that. It is every day is the Super Bowl. It's the most important thing that you will ever do at this moment is every day. Not just one visit, multiple visits by multiple patients over a long period of time. Okay, this is, I spend so much time with young doctors, and so many of you, Dr. Zach. I mean, there's so many of you guys, and I'm trying, Darius, all you guys, you're doing amazing things. But what you have to understand, there are many keys to success. There's not like one, there's not like two, there's not like three, there's 1,000. One of the most important is consistency. Show up every day, no matter if you're seeing one patient or 100 or 200, like some of you are doing a day, and you show up like it's a Super Bowl. It is, but you don't just do it once or twice a week or once or twice a month. It is consistency every day. Now, are we going to have bad days? Yes, we are going to have bad days. They're the best team in the NFL has lost the Super Bowl because they had a bad day. But you show up with the intention that it is going to be the best day every single day. It is consistency every day, every week, every month, year after year, year after year, year after year. That's what creates the 3-star restaurant, the 3-star chiropractic office. I'm going to give you something to think about here. You can have a beautiful office. You can have the perfect location. You can have a friendly, beautiful staff. And you're not going to get a star. I'm going to share something that happened this last weekend. It was kind of fascinating. It's like this has been on my brain, right? I went down this rabbit hole. So Shannon and I, last Wednesday was our 27th wedding anniversary. And I won't go down that because I'll get emotional. But you guys know us. Many of you have been in a group. You know how we are, and you know how I feel about my girl. And after 27 years, it is a consistent date, man. We are, in my heart, we're just more in love now than we've ever been. And Wednesday was our anniversary, but we didn't get to go on we were going to go out and see Arian in Colorado, and then go to a nice restaurant. She had it all put in our plan, and our flight got canceled. So, long story. We ended up having to delay our night for our anniversary to Saturday night. Well, we went up to Vail, Colorado, which is our favorite place on the planet. We absolutely love it there. If you've never been to Vail, I don't care what time of the year you go, you will fall in love. But there's a restaurant there called Sweet Basil. We have been going to this restaurant for over 20 years, and it is amazing. Sweet Basil is absolutely one of the best restaurants you'll go to. Everything about it, we just love it. It is hard to get in. You got to get a reservation, right? It's not a Michelin star. But you ask yourself, well, why? If it's that good, well, so we get our reservation. We go eat. We're sitting out on the balcony overlooking the river, and it was just, oh my God, what a beautiful night. And we're so excited. And the waiter, he was so distracted. He came up to us, and you could tell he was reciting some scripts that he was supposed to say, but his mind was a million miles away. And he was distracted and rushed. But he was going through the motions, but he wasn't really there. Okay, well, we can kind of, all right, whatever, and it took us a while to get our wine and all those things. So then they come out and they set the table, and I look down and I pick up one of the forks. And the fork, and I actually took a picture of it. It's funny. I'll post the picture on here when we get done. I think it's kind of funny. Hang on, I want to show you guys something. I won't do it now. Anyway, one of the fork it was bent, like it has the teeth. One of the forks was bent down like that. And I looked down and I picked it up and I looked at Shannon and I said, "No star." And we just kind of laughed. She rolled her eyes because I'm driving her crazy with all this. But I said, "No star." To get a Michelin star restaurant, that's unacceptable. That would have never left. And to get a Michelin star in a restaurant, when a person picks up a utensil to eat with, it will be the finest quality, most finely polished utensil they've ever picked up with their fingers in their life, every time. That's the difference. This one had a bent fork and they sent that out. No one was paying attention. That's the difference. So we're going to go into some things that we need to start looking at to create this Michelin 3-star. Always clean and presentable. Always clean. Your office is always clean and presentable. Many of you have heard this, many of you haven't. I want you guys to tell your staff in the morning. I want you to ask them a question. If tomorrow you had 100 people coming to your house, what would you be doing tonight? And every one of them would, big wide-eyed, I promise you they'll do this. I would be cleaning like a mad woman. And then you ask the question, why? Because I don't want them to judge me. This is your house. This is your house. And we have 100 people coming, or 20 people coming, or 50 people coming. Doesn't matter how many. This is your house. And they will be judging you. Clean and presentable. They need to be clean and presentable. You need to be clean and presentable. Always, 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 always put the patient first. It doesn't matter. You do not matter. You do not. Now, there are things that you do that puts the patient first, whether they believe it or know it or not, but it doesn't matter. Okay, listen to me. Know your job. Know your job. Staff needs to know everything about their job. Your staff needs to know everything about, if you collect insurance, they need to know all things about every insurance company that you accept. You need to know who's at a network, who's out of network. You need to know what the codes are. They need to be absolute experts on Medicare. They need to know, because when your patient comes in, your staff is expected to be the expert because they're paying you to be the expert. Doc, you need to know how to adjust. You need to understand what it is you do. You need to become an expert in your field. You got to know your job. All procedures are followed. You would not believe how many offices that I run into that the doctors are not giving hand signals. And if they're not giving hand signals, there's a typically reason why. Because they're not rescheduling. They're not rescheduling their patient. And if they're not rescheduling, there's another reason why. Fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of a lack of knowledge. Fear of their money, that they have financial issues. There's all those issues that are so inappropriate for the care of your patient that we're going to get into here in a minute. But you're destroying your practice. If you're not, oh, and now listen, I know some of you have practices where you can't see your front desk, but you have to, you got to, if they can't see you, they need to hear you. Jerry, we'll see you Tuesday, where your staff is listening. When they hear the door open, or if you're open bay or wherever you are all over the world, there's got to be a way that your staff knows when that patient needs to come back. and then your staff needs to put them on a schedule. That's just appropriate procedures. Hand signals, doing these things is part of creating the 3-star experience. And while you're doing all these things, do not be me. I threw this in there because I was on a coaching call, and someone said, Doc, I watch everything you do, and I'm trying to do exactly like you are. Ma'am, do not try to be like me. Be you. Be you every single time. I read this in one of the books I was reading here recently, that the greatest chefs in the world, you know who they are because you can taste their personality. You can taste their energy in the dishes they present. And I thought, wow, how amazing is that? Because they are being themselves. They're the greatest chef in the world with the #1 restaurant in the world. He is not going to prepare dishes that someone else prepared. Now, I guarantee you, his technique, and he learned his technique from his mentors and his teachers that taught him that, but you've got to become yourself. All right? Now, write this down. Write this down. You have got to care a lot about everything. To get a 3-star chiropractic office that people leave and go tell everybody they know, you have to care a lot about every single thing in that office. I'm just going to give you some examples. 1, you never talk when you adjust. When your hands touch a patient, you do not speak. If you're talking, you're not focused. If you're not focused, you're not paying attention. If you're not paying attention, that is a McDonald adjustment. That is not a 3-star adjustment. Pick and choose what you want. Always help a patient up after the adjustment. Once you adjust, you on their back, you do the cervicals, and you hand on the head, and you help them up. Not once, not sometimes, not when you think about it. Every single time. Every time a plate comes out and a silverware comes out, it's perfectly polished. Every time. If you want a 3-star, you help them up every time. I want you to start listening. I want you to start paying attention to what's been going on around you. I just wrote a note tonight. We had a patient that just had a new baby, and she came in for the first time, and the baby was in the car sleeping. So they switched off, and I wrote a note to remind myself to send them a gift. I want you to acknowledge birthdays. I want you to acknowledge funerals. I want you to acknowledge weddings, babies. Someone had a surgery, accomplishment. We have older patients that will have a knee replacement. Doc, I'm going to be out for a couple of weeks. I've got to go get this knee fixed. All right, Jerry. Well, we'll just let us know when you get around, and I'll make a note. I tell the girls, she's going to have a knee replacement on Thursday. Let's make sure that she has flowers waiting on her. Babies, funerals. I always send for funerals when people we lost, or I will send gifts. I've told you guys about the gift I sent one of my little girls that had to have back surgery. She had to have Harrington rods, and I found out what she was collecting. And I bought her this big stuffed. It was actually a stuffed mocha of all things, and I sent that to her. Right, and so always be listening. Always look for an opportunity to make a difference. I was telling Shannon this at dinner tonight. I read this story that I guess it was legendary within the service industry years ago. There was a couple that were sitting at the table at this Michelin star restaurant in the bottom of this hotel, and they were staying at this hotel for their anniversary. And they were sitting there, and they went, "Oh my goodness!" They asked the waiter, said, "We got a question. We put a bottle of champagne in the freezer in a room in a freezer. Will it freeze? And we have a suite up there." And he said, "We'll take care of it." They went up. The wait staff got a hold of the manager. The manager went up. Not only did they take the champagne out, they put it in the refrigerator, but then they left like truffle desserts and this whole display when they come to the room so they could have this with their champagne, and they took care of their tab. They said it was legendary. It's a beautiful display of paying attention and going that extra mile to get that 3-star. I want you guys to go to extra mile to find resources. I'll give you a perfect example. Baby comes in, They're spitting up, they're colicky. I'm adjusting them. It's like, doc, I'm not able to nurse. I mean, I'm just not able to. We hate giving them this formula. All right. Well, you know what? Probably have you tried goat's milk? No, we can't find it. I'll find it for you. Or I reached out to Alicia. What is the goat milk formula that you use? I found that and I sent it to that patient. Um, Doctor referrals. Doctor, you know a good shoulder surgeon. I do, and you make sure they get it. If do you know a good gastroenterologist? I don't, but then I will find out, and at lunch I'll get on my phone. I'll reach out to the doctors that I know. Hey, I need the best gastroenterologist. I'll find that. I'll send it to them. Patient coming today. Hey, we just bought a house down in Florida. Do you know we need it? We're going to be down there. It's a second home. We're down there part time. Do you know anybody there? Yes, I'll find you somebody. Um, Go the extra mile. Listen. Pay attention. Here's what's crazy to me is we're willing to spend $3,000-4,000 a month on Facebook ads and social media marketing to get someone that we don't know to come in, but we're not willing to spend 20 or 30 bucks on flowers or 15 or 20 minutes at lunch to do something and go out of their way to make a difference in the patient you already have. Hear me on this? I remember when I was just getting out of school, I worked with my uncle down in Springfield, Missouri, and something kind of, as I'm writing this, it stuck out to me, reminded me that I'll never forget. We were in there one time, and all I was doing was taking X-rays and exams. I hadn't got my license yet, and there was an old country guy come in, and that's how most everybody that come in his office was. And Doc Biles said, "Well, what are you doing now?" I said, "Oh," he said, "I guess I'm going to go out and cut these thistles in the field." He said, my sprayer broke, and I don't have a sprayer. And so what they do in the hills in the country, they get these big sprayers and they put it on their tractor, and they put this chemical and they'd spray these big thistle, they're thistle roses, these basically a weed that grows up in the fields, and it gets in the hay. They got to kill them all out, or it gets in the hay and it's harmful to the cows. So they normally spray them, but he didn't. His sprayer broke, so he had to cut them down. So after work that night, Doc said, "Hey, come with me. I'll take you to dinner, but we got to run an errand." So we leave and we go by this big swap meet there in Springfield. They had everything, and we spent the next hour looking for a sprayer. And he found one, and we loaded it up in the back of his truck, and we drove it out to he had his address. We drove it out to his house and took it to him. Never charged him. Things like that are, at the time, I didn't think much about it because that's just kind of how Doc was. But all these years later, God, this is 30 years later, I'm thinking about that like, no wonder. I mean, everybody you talk to in Springfield, Missouri, yeah, I used to go see old Doc Biles. I used to see old Doc Biles. Everybody. And he was a great adjuster, but he had a bigger heart than his technique. So I want you guys to remember those things. Remember to say their name at least 3 times. When they walk through the door, your staff says their name. And then you say their name. And then before they leave, "Jerry, have a great day." And when they come out, "Jerry, we got you on a schedule. Jerry, we appreciate you. Let us know if there's anything we can do. We'll see you next time. We'll see you in 2 weeks." Say their name. It's not that hard. Office is spotless. Touch-up paint. I want you to walk through your office in the morning, and I want you to take a pen and a paper, and I want you to start writing down everything you see that can be cleaned, touched up, or changed, or corrected, or improved. Just make a list. And then I want your staff to do the same thing, and I want you guys to compare the list and look at it. And then I want you to ask yourself, why is this on this list? Why haven't we done this? Make sure your office is bright. Make sure it's open. No plants. No personal pictures. Gang, it's not about you. I never put personal pictures. I have no pictures of Shannon and I, or my kids, or my grandkids. I don't want to create conversation based off of me. I want them talking about them. I don't want plants in my office. First of all, I don't want anybody taking care of it. Second of all, I don't want somebody judging if they like that plant or they don't like that plant. I have that plant. "Hey, girls, where'd you get your plant?" And next thing you know, I'll never forget one time, a doctor sent me a video of it. He walked through and sent me a video of his office. He wanted me to look at it and asked me what I thought. I said, "Well, okay, is that an office, or is that down at the Myriad Gardens? Is that a greenhouse?" "Yeah, my wife buys them for the house. When they get too big, she brings them to the office." "Wait, what?" "Okay, tell your wife to sell them or put them in a greenhouse, but they do not belong in your office. You can't even walk through it. There were vines and trees. I mean, it looked like a damn jungle, not a chiropractic office. And here's the thing. I know some of you probably have plants in your office. You don't have to take them out, but you don't have to have a Michelin 3-star either. Yes, I said it. All right. Write this down. Write this down. Every second counts. Every second counts. You have got to respect their time. I don't care if you see one a day. That person's time is just as valuable as it would be if you were seeing 40 a day or 140 a day. Respect their time. In all areas, respect their time. Your useless words are the most disrespectful form of uncertainty that you can display. Your useless words are the greatest display of disrespect that you can deliver to another human being. If you're speaking just because you don't know what else to do, you're wasting their time. They never get it back. They will walk out of your office and they will think to themselves, well, there's 10 minutes I will never get back in my life. I want you to make sure you understand that every second counts. Here's the thing. Let's say you want to see 100 a day, and you're seeing 5 a day right now, but your goal is one day to see 100 a day. All right? Well, I want you to ask yourself, if I run my practice at 100 a day, like I run my practice at 5 a day, can I ever see 100 a day? And the answer is no. And what you're going to do is justify it. You're going to say, well, when I get to 100 a day, then I'll run it that way, and it doesn't work that way. It's no different than saying, you know what, once I get in shape, then I'll go to the gym. Once I become thin, then I'll go on a diet and lose weight. It's stupid. It doesn't make any damn sense. You guys have got to start paying attention to every second counts. Respect their health with your care plans. So some of you, this is going to resonate with you because you and I had this conversation, but I'm bringing it back up because it's that damn important. I have had doctors tell me that they're not putting them on a 32-visit treatment plan just because, well, it's hard for me because I just don't think they can afford it. Maybe some of you in your brains are thinking, well, man, at 3 times a week for 8 weeks, once a week for 8 weeks, man, it's just a lot. I have a hard time, telling them that because I just don't know if they can afford it. I don't know if I can afford that. All right. So what you're saying is, because you are so insecure about what you do that you have a hard time telling someone what is proper care to get them well. So your insecurity is more important than their health, is what you're saying. And it is. And I want you guys, I'm going to be hard as hell on you right now. If you are not putting your patients on proper care plans, all you're saying is that your insecurity is much more important than them experiencing health through chiropractic. Because that's what you're saying. Because I got news for you. If you had a patient that with a broken arm and they came to you and they said, Doc, my arm's broken, you said, okay, well, you got to wear a cast. It's going to take 8 weeks for it to heal, but it's going to cost $1,000 for that cast. Well, you wouldn't say, I don't know if they can afford $1,000. So look, I know your arm's broke. So what we're going to do is put your arm in a cast for 2 weeks and charge you $200. How's that? Well, that's ridiculous is what that is. And I know that's a stupid analogy, but to me it's no different. You've got a patient coming in. They're 42 years old. They've had lower back pain for the last 12 weeks. You take an x-ray and you see degeneration, bone spurs, osteoarthritis, hips are unlevel, and you know that condition has been coming on for years, and you say, oh man, I don't know if they can afford this. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to see you twice a week for 2 or 3 weeks, and let's see how it feels. You're not a chiropractor. You are not a chiropractor. What you are is a pain-based, weakened version of a chiropractor. You are an Advil distributor with a chiropractic degree. Because hell, if that's all you're going to do, if all you want to do is make them feel better, tell them to go down the street and get a bottle of Advil. Now you're really saving them money. You're really saving. Charge them $20 for a NOS visit. At least you've got paid something. Tell them to go buy Advil. At least you made some money, and then you feel better about them feeling better. I'm no one being hard on you. I know I'm coming down on this, but damn it, I have got to get this through to your head. Stop giving them care plans based off of your limited freaking opinion on what it is you do or what chiropractic is, because all you're doing is robbing them. You're stealing them an opportunity of experiencing chiropractic at its greatest. Gang, we are chiropractors. But in this group, if you are on this call tonight with me, Ralph Lapine, Devin, all of you, if you're listening to my voice right now, you're watching this right now, you're not just a chiropractor at all. You are much more. All of you. We have a couple doctors that joined today and yesterday. You're in the presence of something different. You now are stepping into another level of something different. We are creating 3-star chiropractic offices. And the way we're going to do that is we will not compromise the health of our patients due to lack of freaking certainty in what we do. We will not do that because we are insecure about finances. We will not. Damn it, we will not. Ever. From this moment on, you tell them the damn truth, and then you deliver on that truth, and you show them care that they've never experienced in their life. Quality versus quantity. Quality versus quantity. Spend a minute with them of quality, not 15 minutes worth of bullshit. If you can spend 10, 12, 13, 15 minutes with a patient and you think you did something special, you didn't. You didn't. You did not. Because I promise you, that patient walked into my office and I'm spending a minute with them, and you think they're going to get well as fast, quicker, or slower than spending 15 minutes with them in another office? I mean, ask yourself that question. And I'm not patting my ass on the back. There's 200 or 300 of you. It's exactly the same way. You know what I'm talking about. Some of you are seeing 200 a day. You don't see 200 a day by spending 15 minutes with them, and you don't have to. You do not have to. It's irrelevant. Every second counts. What I want you to start learning, I want you to write this down. Make the simple look awesome. Make the simple look awesome. Great service cannot exist without great leadership. Great service cannot exist without great leadership. Doctors, you are the leaders. I do not want to hear about how your staff this, your staff that, blah, blah, blah. We used to have a saying years ago, if you're complaining about your staff, you should have been gone 2 weeks ago. But I changed that because, you know what? A lot of times you're complaining about your staff, and you're not complaining about your staff. You're complaining about you. It's just you're too damn insecure to take responsibility for your thoughts, words, and actions that you want to blame it on someone else. We see that all the time. Insecure people here's what happens is, truly insecure people have no faults. They're perfect in every area. Or they may not be perfect, but they're better than you. It's you. You're the one with the problem. I'm pretty damn great, right? I see it all the time. If you ever think that you're pretty damn great and perfect and you have no problems and it's everybody else's fault, you have a huge issue. You have a bigger issue than that your practice is being slow, because I've got news for you. Without great leadership, great service can't happen. You have to show up, and you have to really show up. When you show up to your office, you don't show up half-assed. You don't show up late. You don't show up, messy or wrinkled. You don't show up with your mind distracted. You don't show up, without being presentable. You show up, and you show up with an attitude. You show up with an energy. You show up with a leadership quality that someone wants to follow. Your staff and your patients, they want to follow a leader. Either be that leader or don't. Be a McDonald's or be a 3-star. You make the freaking decision. First impressions are everything. First impressions. Last impressions are even more important. I know no one has probably ever said that to you. You never heard it. When they first come in, that's one thing, but when they leave, it's even more important. And I had a conversation with little Angelica, the new CA that started with us, with Dr. Adam. I sat her down today and I said, listen, when they walk through the door, the way you smile matters if they're going to heal appropriately or not. The way you say their name matters whether or not they're going to experience true health or not. When you show up, are you here or are you somewhere else, but your body is here? It matters. It matters. That last impression matters. Loyalty. I wrote this down. Patients want to feel that you are loyal to them. They're not just another patient. I tell you what's interesting is, and when this occurred to me, and I actually read this about, what was funny was, to be honest with you, I read this about clients or customers at a restaurant. They want to go to a restaurant that when the server shows up, when the cook comes out, that you are loyal to them, that you are there for them. And I thought, you know what? That explains something. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this. I have many, many times. I'll open the door, and for the most part, I don't look around the room because I don't want to be distracted. I will pull the card, and when I see the patient's name, I'll glance through. As soon as I find that patient, I lock eyes, and I don't look around the room. But what's interesting is there are times that I'll pull the card, and the room is full, and I'll look around, and every patient, not all, majority of them are looking at me with this look of, I'm here, I'm here. I want you to see me because I want you to know that I'm here because I know that makes you happy that I'm here. It's a fascinating deal. I mean, they look at you like, I know all these other people are in the room, but I'm your favorite. You just admit it. I mean, that's kind of the look on their face. I've done it so many times, especially my patients have been with me for a long period of time because I am loyal to them. But when they come in, they've been in there for so many years that they feel like that's their office. And all you other people are just like, posers, whatever. I've been here for 15, 20 years. You probably just showed up. When he opens the door, he's going to see me. I'll probably get pushed ahead of you. I mean, that's kind of the attitude that I feel from him. And so when I read that, I thought that's what it is. Your patients want to feel a sense of loyalty. They want to know that you matter. There's a book called Tribes by Godin. If you haven't read it, get that book. It is amazing. Actually, when I get done with all the other 4 books I'm reading, I want to reread that. But just remember, patients want to feel that you're loyal to them. They're not just someone else, right? Listen. We talked about that. Listen to everything they say. I had a football coach when I was in 8th grade. He used to tell me all the time, Young, shut up. That's why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you listen twice as much as you talk. I don't know why he said that to me. Listen, empower your staff. Give them an opportunity to shine. Tell them what you expect, and then go let them do it. Give them a sense of ownership in the office. Ask them questions. Ask them what they feel would bring a 3-star restaurant or a 3-star chiropractic office. Just say, look, if we're going to be the very best in the world at what we do, what are we going to have to do that? What are your ideas? And give them an opportunity to express what they think. Being busy does not give you a pass for bad service. How much would it aggravate you that you're going to spend a large amount of money? You waited forever. It took you forever to get a reservation. And then you got there, and then you finally got seated, and then you waited and you waited and you waited for your food. You waited for a server. You waited for your wine. You ordered another drink. Many of you have been there. You ordered another cocktail, and it just isn't coming out. And the waiter comes up and said, oh, I'm sorry, we're just really slammed tonight. What does that have to do with me? That you're busy, so I don't get served? I got news for you. Your patients feel the same damn way. Oh, so you're busy, so I'm not important? Being busy does not remove you from great service. I will tell if I feel like my patients had to wait a little longer than they're used to, Jerry, listen, I want to apologize for making you wait so long. I'm truly sorry. Oh, no, Doc, I love seeing you busy. Well, I know you've got things to do, and you're important to me. Just know that that I will do my very best to see to it that you don't have to wait next time. I didn't say that because I'm trying to get a referral. I'm saying that because I mean it. I try to stay on the ball, but sometimes things happen. But it doesn't excuse you from great service, okay? Know your patients. This is important. I've been thinking about this a lot. So, and some of you probably seen it. Every now and then I go down the rabbit hole. I admit it. I like a good sparring match sometimes. I have these guys that they'll give me a hard time about patient visits or seeing how many patients we see or all these things. And I even had one say, well, you're just one of those guys just, trying to hold us back. you know, we're gonna advance the profession if we have other things in our bag of tricks other than just an adjustment, like therapies and whatever else. And I just messaged back. I said, well, um, the words, and I quote unquote bag of tricks is an adjustment is just in a bag of tricks, and that's how you feel about it. It says everything I need to know about who you are as a chiropractor. And then I was done. I walked from that. And I got to thinking about this. His ideal patient is coming in because they have an owie. They got a pulled muscle. They got a strain. Now they can do this therapy and they can do that therapy and they can rub it and they can do all these things. And ooh, it feels better. Oh, doc, man, my back it just feels so much better. You know what my ideal patient is? The patient that comes in was one thing, and they leave knowing something else. And it's not because of what I said; it's because of what I delivered. Um, when you make a chiropractic adjustment, there is a signal that is sent to the brain that immediately dumps chemicals and hormones into the bloodstream that promote and induce healing and well-being. We all know that. And if you don't understand it, ask yourself this: have you ever had a patient after you adjusted them stand up and go, "God, I feel better already"? Why? Okay, you just made an adjustment. There's no healing that went on. That joint has not got proper restoration of motion. None of that happens. Why do they feel better already? Um, why is it that a patient can't get pregnant? John Minardi said this. Why is it that a patient that is told that it's impossible to get pregnant, hasn't gotten pregnant, all the fertility clinics can't get pregnant, she goes to see a chiropractor, he adjusts her sacrum, she gets pregnant. And then you come up with the conclusion that, well, it's because I took the pressure off the sacral nerve, it goes to uterus and ovaries, and now they're functioning better, and now she got pregnant. Okay, well, then another patient goes to an upper cervical doctor, and all he adjusted was her atlas occiput, she got pregnant. Why? How did she get pregnant? Now that whole bone on a hard bone on a soft nerve goes out the window. It's because when you make a chiropractic adjustment, there is a signal that is sent to the brain. The brain then reacts to that signal by dumping positive hormones and chemicals into the bloodstream that promote and induce healing and well-being. That's what happens. My ideal patient, when they come in, that's what they come for, is healing, correction. And it's because of the specific adjustment, not because I spent 20 minutes with every visit trying to educate them. It's because I told them that you have a joint that's not moving appropriately. I'm going to put motion in that joint, restore the proper motion, allow that joint to move long enough to heal. That's what we're going to do. And they got it, doc. That's my ideal patient. So what I want you to do is know your patients, know your ideal patient. Think about the practice that you want to create. Every day, the people that come in, who do you want to come in? Do you want 100 to 200 a day of people who want that, or do you want 15 or 20 people that want to tell you about how bad they hurt, or about their owies, or about their fungus, or whatever crap? All right, so listen, we're going to close this up with this. It is your responsibility to create magic in a world who needs it now more than ever. I thought about this when that patient left. I thought, these people are walking in from the world, and they're inundated and they're surrounded with all the junk. You know what I'm talking about. Good Lord, we are all so blessed that we have each other. We have an environment, we have a family here that we get to resonate with. We get to remove ourselves from the junk. We're chiropractors and we're blessed, but those people don't get it. But when they walk in our office for a moment, they get to experience magic. And it reminds them of what is good. We are the light in the dark. Don't ever forget it. And if you are not actively pursuing to be the biggest light in the dark, if you're not actively pursuing decreasing the amount of net suffering in the world, then what the hell are you doing? I mean, serve McDonald's, gang. Don't fall to that level. And the last thing, let your energy, gang, let your energy, who you are, let that affect your patients, not the other way around. Don't let them bring it in and affect you. You are the stronger light, affect them. They are a light bulb next to your sun. No comparison. They are a match in a forest fire. No comparison. So what I'm getting through to you tonight, what I want you all, I'm hoping, and I'm working very hard on creating an entire new foundation within foundations, a set of foundations within the group, and I'm going to do videos, and I'm going to break this stuff down. I'm going to go deep into this stuff, and I'm going to break it down. So you're going to hear a lot about this, because I really believe that the greatest achievement that we can ever create within chiropractic is create a 3-star chiropractic office, one that is booked for weeks in advance, one that people talk about, one that they can't wait to get to, one that they will pay any price that you ask, whatever you charge. It is not too much, because of what you're delivering is so above and beyond anything they've ever experienced, that they're not only will they pay it, they're going to go tell everybody they know. We can do that. We can. It's got to be intentional. It has to be intentional. All right? I hope tonight was helpful. I hope you guys gained something from this. I hope you took notes. I hope you take action on it. So before I take some questions, I want you guys to do me a favor. And I ask this all the time, and I used to feel real weird about asking, but I don't anymore. I don't care. And I only post some of them. I only share a few. If you knew how many messages I'm getting from you all about, oh my gosh, record this and record that, and all the things. And I go back and I read the first messages when you all joined and when you started and where you were, and now I see where you are. And it's truly remarkable. And I am blown away by the success of the chiropractors in this group. But I'm going to ask you all this simple question. The ones that are truly loving the group, the ones that love this information, the ones that resonate with our message, the ones that are really pushing hard to create that 3-star experience for their patients, wouldn't it be worth your effort to bring someone into the group so they can experience that too? I told you guys this story, and I'm going to finish real quick with the story. An old patient of mine, one of my very first patients back in 1998, Lawrence, he had a stroke, and he came in and he couldn't use his right arm, and he was walking with a cane. He could barely get around. And I've been in practice I was an associate doctor a year, just a little over a year when he came in. And I was seeing like 5 a day. And me and Lawrence became great buddies, man. I would adjust him and I'd help him up. And he's an old country boy. And we talk about cutting wood and squirrel hunting and all these things. We got really close. And then I started seeing his wife and his daughter and his grandkids. And now his grandkids are bringing their kids, right? Well, and I hadn't seen Lawrence in years. And then he came in a couple of years ago, and office was packed, and he had to wait. And then he come in, and I gave him a big hug. And man, Lawrence has been so long, and he's quite a bit older than, and just no country guy. Didn't say a whole lot, and I adjusted him, helped him up, and I said, Lawrence, I tell you what, and I say it all the time, and I said it would be in your best interest to let's get in here every 2 weeks. Let's I know it's hard for you to get here. You live quite a ways out. He said, yeah. He said, all right, we'll talk about it. And he leaves. Well, the next day, his daughter, she comes in. And Suzette says, Doc, Daddy says he's not coming back. Why? Well, because he said you're greedy. Greedy? Suzette, he doesn't pay. He pays $5. He's on Medicare. Nope. He said, you're all these people in here. He said, you're seeing all these people, and all you care about is the money. And I said, Suzette, can I ask you a question? She said, well, yeah. She said, you remember when your dad first started coming to see me? Yeah. You remember how much it helped him? Like how it changed? I mean, he got to where he could barely walk, and all of a sudden, he's using the chainsaw again. Oh, he talks about it all the time. Okay, well, if I can help him with that, am I not supposed to help everybody else or just him? Oh, I never thought about it. I said, Suzette, if I can help, shouldn't I help as many as possible, or is it just him, or just 2 or 3, or how many does he feel like that I should help? Well, I didn't think about it that way. You tell him that I love him and I'm always going to be here. Guess who came in the next week? Daddy. Because she went back and told him. Now, he never said a word, but I think I got my point across. Gang, this is no different. If I'm helping you, and I say that selfishly. I don't mean me. I've taken all the years of knowledge and I put it in a program. I'm sharing my knowledge. All I'm doing. But if this program, if this information helps you, how many should we help? Just a few or a lot? So I'm leaving it at that. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from, because I keep seeing the results and the increase in the success. And then I get messages from a young doctor that joined today. Doc, I hope you're on here. You know, I don't drop a lot of names, but I hope you're on here. A young associate doctor that is working for another doctor who's been in practice 28 years and just really doesn't care much anymore. And this young guy wants to do something successful. And he saw me on social media. That's why he joined. There's so many more out there. So I'm going to put it in your plate. I'll put it in your basket, whatever. Do whatever you want to. But let's go help as many people as we can. I love you guys. All right? So that is the program. That is my message. And I am taking questions right now. So, and I know we have a bit of a delay, but I should have already told you guys to get your questions ready. But all right, so I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes and ask your questions. I'm watching right now. Oh, don't forget, everybody be in Denver coming up. Everybody be in the Denver seminar. It is going to be something. Do not miss it. Oh, you know, I was thinking about going. No, go. Okay. All right. No questions? All right. I'm giving you a couple minutes. Rich Chatfield, appreciate you, brother. Nicole, TJ, come to Denver. I can't wait to see you there. Dr. Lisa, hey, Brother Joey, thank you. I appreciate you. Chad, Kimberly, Ben. All right, Ben. So I am going to say it. Everybody, we haven't got it on there yet because they just joined. I want everybody to say hi and welcome Dr. Ben August from Alabama. Dr. Ben, welcome to Foundations. You got a great big dose of it, and this is just the beginning. Jake Healer, hope you're doing great. Sister Devin, okay. Ralph, appreciate you. Ralph, the bear. You know what I'm talking about. My favorite show ever. All right. Okay, no questions. Chad Rankum. All right. Okay, Craig, trying to balance being a leader without being an asshole. Any suggestions? Yes. You don't have to be an asshole to be a leader. Here's the thing: lead by example, brother. You don't. Here's the thing: it's not what you say; it's what you do. It's how do you treat patients? What's your tone of your voice? Do you show up early or do you show up late? Do you show up presentable or do you not? Do you sit and lean on a counter and wait on somebody, or do you stand up tall and wait on them? What do you do? Leadership is what you do, not what you say. And being an asshole is just because you're an asshole. Girls have been with me for 24 years. I guarantee you can ask them, has he ever been an asshole to you girls? Maybe once or twice they took it that way, but out of 24 years, if I got once or twice, well, then we've done pretty good, because it's not about me, it's about them, right? I don't get caught up in, and I never correct the person. I always correct the action, and I never say you, I say we, us, because it's our practice. But the greatest lesson I can ever, or the greatest response I can give to that, Craig, is it's not what you say, it's what you do. That's how you become a leader. Okay, good. Let me see. I'll make sure I didn't miss any. Oh, okay. Randy, if someone comes in with no symptoms, do you still recommend 3 times a week for 8 weeks, or do you case? Okay, so great question. If they have 0 symptoms and they come in, and I'm still going to take a set of x-rays. No different than if they go to their dentist and you tell them that, look, if you go to your dentist, your teeth don't hurt, he's still going to take x-rays of your teeth, right? Well, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I don't want to wait till you develop a condition, your spine starts falling apart, before we take an x-ray and find it. So then you take the x-ray. If they have a perfect cervical curve, a perfect thoracic curve, a perfect spine, no arthritis, no degeneration, no anything, no sense. I mean, they walked out of a freaking chiropractic textbook. Okay, then I see them every 2 weeks. Let's maintain. Let's just you palpate. You find tightness and restriction somewhere in the spine. You tell them that we're going to maintain motion in the areas that I found that when I palpated, found the muscle tension. Your body's saying we've got a little stress here. Then see them every 2 weeks. If they're very little degeneration, maybe in C5, just a touch, still no symptoms, everything else looks great. All right, maybe I'll see them twice a week for 6 weeks, 12 visits, and then I put them on every 2 weeks. It's clinical indication, Randy, and I appreciate what you're saying, but let's just be real honest, Randall. How many times in your career has that happened? By the time they get to a chiropractic office, they're falling freaking apart. Now you have kids and you have 12 and 14-year-olds or teenagers, and that's a different scenario. Maybe you only want to see them every 2 weeks just to maintain motion in the spine. But look at the percentages, right? How often does it actually happen? So I'm glad you asked that question, Rand. But I hope that makes sense. Glenn, do you have team swap positions every now and then? Yes, all the time. Now my girls have been with me so long that, but they will still do that. Sometimes Carissa just gets sick of being behind the front desk all the time. And I'll look up and she's running patients in the back. But your girls have 100% got to be cross-trained. So, if Chris is not in the office, Krisha can run it. If Krisha is not in the office, Krista runs it. Everybody's got to know what everybody's doing. But yeah, we will have them rotate now and then. Great question. And that's just good for cross-training. And let's see. Haley. Okay, I'm having a hard time with a couple of elderly patients who are so tender that I feel like I'm hurting them further. I just don't know how to send the adjustment without worrying about putting them into more pain. It seems so television. I catch myself being timid. All right, so Haley, this is a great tool, a great opportunity to learn, and you're brand new. You just started, so we've all been there. I've got those patients too. Here's what you do. You find the area that you want to adjust. You set up on it. You put light pressure. In your pressure, I want you to deliver the pressure gently toward the facet angle and just hold it. And then you're just going to slowly rock it back and forth, and maybe just a little. But make sure you're specific over the facet angles and just a little. And then you move to the next one, and that's all you do. You're going to be amazed. If your focused intention is on that, that's all you need to do. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get a little more confident. You're going to get a little bit more. So in the beginning, you just barely touch it, but then as you're going, you're going to find yourself getting a little deeper. But then I have patients. I have one right now, Marie, that I barely touch her. She has about T6, 7. I get a little. That's the only area that I get any motion, any cavitation at all. Everything else, she is moaning and hollering like I'm killing her, but she never misses. She hadn't in years, every 2 weeks. And, oh, it hurts. And I'm barely touching her. I just hold. And that's all she wants. She just wants attention and wants me to pay attention. All right? So, Haley, just take your time, little bit at a time. It will come to you, okay? But great question. All right. Let's see. TJ, where'd you go? Oh, there's a time and a place to bring a thunder, keep the motion in the joint, and allow the body to heal. Yes, just slow, light. All right, Randall. I hope that made sense, buddy. I wasn't trying to skirt the question, but I'm talking about the percentage. But yeah, there are those times that, I have patients that come in sometimes that been to other chiropractors, and they're just coming in, and I don't have any problems. I just want to maintain my adjustments. Great. I take an X-ray, I palpate, I adjust, and see you in 2 weeks. There's nothing wrong with that. Sister Samantha, how do you ensure that a patient continues to understand the importance of long-term care without keeping them in the office too long? Any re-exams or anything to educate the importance of reinducing interference and keeping it that way? I have some of those people that start to look at just cracking them and sending them on their way. All right, Sam, great question. So listen, probably the majority of my practice is maintenance patients, because here's what you do. Once they understand why they're coming in the first place, once you teach them that the reason they're getting adjusted is because, and I say this during the reported findings, and you've watched it, you've heard me say it. Look, when I'm adjusting, I'm not cracking or popping anything. What I'm doing is I'm putting motion in an area that hasn't been moving, and I'm going to maintain that motion long enough for it to heal, and then we're going to keep it moving so it never comes back. Now they understand that and I said, it's just like exercising. So then what I do at the end of active care, I said, let me ask you a question. If you spent the last 16 weeks going to the gym and now you're healthier and better shape, Just quit working out. What's going to happen? Now you're going to lose it all. Exactly. This is exactly the same thing. If we do not maintain motion in your spine, then life is going to happen, gravity is going to happen, forces are going to happen, and all this is going to come back, and then we're going to have to start all over again. The problem is every time we start over, you're a little older, and you don't heal the way you should. So let's just maintain it. And that way, and then, Sam, what you do along the way is every so often, when you adjust them, you make the comment, I love this. I'm so happy that you're coming in and maintaining the motion of your spine. The motion in this area is doing great. Let's keep it that way. Doc, I'm feeling great. Look, that's what I want to hear. Let's make sure it stays that way. So you just remind them about motion and maintaining motion, maintaining joint function. And you don't have to spend an hour telling them. Just remind them, because you already told them at the reported findings, this is what we're doing, and just little gentle reminders of this is why they're coming, right? And then that will go a long ways. Because here's the thing, they don't want to be educated. They got things to do. They don't want us, I hear this all the time. If they knew what you knew, they would do what you did. No, that's not true. It is not true. If they wanted to know what you knew, they would go to school. They would get a degree. All they want to do is come in, and they want you to tell them very shortly, very quickly, very easily, when do I need to come back and why? We need to come back in 2 weeks because we need to maintain motion. Motion is life. I haven't had a patient one time go, Doc, I just don't get it. You keep saying maintain motion. I said, well, let me ask you a question. You ever know anybody that was paralyzed in a wheelchair? Well, yeah, I know people who have. I said, okay. I said, how long did they live? Did they live to be old? No, they all die fairly early. Why? Well, because there's no motion. You quit moving, you start going downhill fast. My job is to keep you moving. Oh, right? So just use analogies like that, with things that they understand, right? So I hope that, Sam, I hope that helps. If again, it's micro-educating, but you got to educate them in a way of use words and analogies that they understand. Doc, I feel pretty good. I don't think I need to come back. I know. My teeth they haven't hurt in years. I'm going to quit brushing them. What? Oh, they don't hurt, so why would I brush them? Well, I'll see you next week. Okay. I mean, Sam, I hope that makes sense. So it's really important that you just tell them the truth at the beginning, but then you micro-educate along the way. All right, Steve Rickman, hope that went well. Talk to you soon. Sam, listen, sis, if you're still having issues with it, reach out to me, and you and I'll get on the phone and we'll work through this. All right? Okay, gang, it is 8:07. I'm 7 minutes over. Please put this stuff into action first thing in the morning. I want you to walk through your door in your brain. I want you to think 3-star. I want you to deliver service like never before. Every single patient, when they leave, I want them to feel how much you love being there. And then they're going to love being there, and they're going to share that with everybody. And then I want you to take your success and I want you to share it with others, because it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the profession. Let's share that. All right? I will see you guys in Denver. I love you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Actually, I'll see you all in the morning. Love you all. Good night. Bye.